at the end. This will be part 2 of coding a Minecraft hacked client on Mac. In this episode, we're just gonna be starting up the client, hooking it up, maybe getting getting some text to render on the screen. Nothing that hard. So let's just get straight into it. So come to your source folder, main Java, and in here, go to new and create a new package. We're gonna call this the name of our folder. So mine's custom client. So I'm gonna say custom client all lowercase, just like that. And in here, just go new Java class client. Every single little teensy weensy bit of code is going to be in this client.java file. So we're gonna focus on this a lot. The first thing we're gonna want to do is create a public static. In fact, no, don't use static. I'm very sorry. That causes too many errors. So just say public string name and name your client. I'm going to call it custom client, and then version equals, and then whatever version. I'll say 1.0. Then you want to create another string called title and just set that to name plus v plus version. You can format this to however you like. This is just how I like to do the title. Then once that's done, just make a simple function. Just say public void start up client, just like that. And in here, we're just gonna go ahead and say system.out.println, and then we're gonna say title. In fact, let's do this. Start up plus title. So it's gonna say startup and then that. And yep, there we go. Next, we're gonna want to hook that up to Minecraft. So just come to the net folder, come to Minecraft, and go ahead and find client. Then in here, scroll down until you find Minecraft. This is quite literally when Minecraft gets launched. So like on that menu where it's like, that's the same. This is like managing everything, including the single player, multiplayer buttons. Although there is a separate class for that I will go to soon. So here, you want to find public Minecraft. Right in front of it, you're gonna want to get our client. So we're gonna say client C is equal to new client, like that. And that's gonna be our cool little client that we're gonna use throughout. Let's make it public as well. It's going to give us a red error because we need to import it. So come all the way to the top here. We're going to want to put it at the very top. So over here, just say import. And then you're going to want to do your package name. So custom client and then dot and then that. So client. Oop. And that error should be gone. If I come back down here, should be bye-bye. So there we go. Give it some time. There we go. Perfect. So now you want to scroll down until you see this hunk of code right here. This .ingame GUI equals new in-game GUI. And there should be right below that debug and render system. So just make a few lines below the render system, and that's where we're going to hook up the client. So just say c.startupClient. There it is. Beautiful. So this will just call that function when Minecraft is loading up. Or like this will happen after the loading is finished and it transitions into the actual game. So there we go. That's done. And quite simple as that. When you launch up the client, it's going to do that. It's going to print out the thing. So this is hooked up now. Next thing we need to do, we're going to change the title. So instead of it saying Minecraft 1.16.5 and then whatever, we're just going to get it to say our client name. So we can replace this Minecraft string with c.title, just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and delete this chunk of code that is modded client. And we're also going to delete these 2 lines. So that's just going to make sure it doesn't say our client and then 1.16.5. And it just says our client. That should be good now. Perfect. And there we go. That's all done for Minecraft.java. We can close that up. Now we're going to make a new function, public void, and we're going to call this one run HUD. And this is just going to be our display, like our text, our GUI, our modules, and stuff like that. So let's get to work on that. So over here, we have run HTTP. We're going to need to link that up. So in our client folder where we found Minecraft, we're going to go inside here into GUI, and we're going to find in-game GUI. So we're going to go ahead and double click on that. And this is quite literally the in-game GUI. When you enter a single player or a multiplayer world, this is what you find in-game GUI. You want to find the function render in-game GUI, and you want to scroll all the way down to the bottom. All the way down. So let me just find that. And here we go. And right before this render system color and then render system enable alpha test, you're just going to want to put a line, and we're going to want to run this HUD function. So to do that, of course, we have to initialize our client. So I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to say public client C equals new client, like that, so we can access the client. And right at the top, we're going to import the class for the client. So import custom client.client. There we go. That should be set now. And let's go way back down to our space here. And here now we can say c.run HUD. Now to display things like text and windows or like boxes, we're going to need two things. We're going to need a matrix stack, and we're going to need a font renderer. The font renderer for the text, the matrix stack to display quite literally every single thing. So let's make a few parameters for this. So we'll say font renderer F and matrix stack M. You could name them whatever you want. I think that's neat. And then back in here, we're just going to include the font render. So if we scroll up a little bit, we can see that it is used. So there we go. Font renderer dot whatever. And you can also see that the matrix stack is used. So there we go. We have our two names that we need to include, or the ones that are used. So font renderer and matrix stack. So now we have the exact ones that are used. So we don't need to worry about anything else. Why is there an error here? Yep, okay. It's because I didn't import them. Oopsies. So let's go ahead and import for the font renderer. And then we'll import for the matrix stack. Hello, import class. Perfect. So now this silly little error should be gone. Yep. And we're all set. So there we go. That's done now. Yep, the error's gone. Okay, so now let's just start off by displaying some text. Very simple. So we're gonna go f dot, and it's gonna show us some options. We're gonna choose draw a string with shadow, and we're gonna pass in the matrix stack. We're gonna pass in the text. So that's gonna be our title. So I'll say title. We're gonna put in the position. We're gonna make it in the top left, but we don't want it to cram on the corner. We want to give it some space. So I find 4:4 to be pretty good. And then we'll set a color. This will use the color.hsb to RGB function here. So we can convert hue, saturation, and brightness into RGB, which I find pretty helpful. And it will return an int that can be interpreted by Minecraft. So that's pretty helpful. So for the HSB, I'm going to say 0. And for the brightness, I'm going to say 0. Saturation, I'm going to say 0. But brightness, I'm going to say 1. So that should give me a white color. So there we go. That's done. Let's go ahead and test it out. But instead of coming to tasks, MCP, and run client like we did last time, we're going to create a custom one here. So let's go ahead and click on this edit. And we're going to get this little tab here. Just click on the plus. And we're going to create a new Gradle configuration. We're going to name it run. And in here, we're going to run the run client option. And we're going to go to modify options, add VM options. And we're going to say -xmx 4G -xms 4G. So this is just going to allow more RAM. If your computer does not have that much RAM, I'd suggest putting it down to 2. But I'm going to set mine to 4. In fact, no. Let's go 2 before my computer crashes. So there we go. I'm going to just say apply. OK. And up here, we're going to select the run and we're going to play, or we're going to execute it. And now we just wait. All right, there we go. And let's go to single player. Let's make a new world. I'm going to call this test world, because that's literally the purpose of it. Creative, peaceful, just so we can test out everything if we need. There we go. Worked as perfectly. We have our text up here, and let's check up on the console, see if our cute little text popped up. So I'm going to scroll up here, and there it is. Found it. STD out, startup, custom client v1.0. Working just as expected. So let's close this up and quit game. And one last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make this rainbow. Who doesn't like rainbow? Because quite literally every single damn hacked client is rainbow. So let's add some glimmer to it. So let's go ahead and put in here public void. In fact, it's not a void. We're going to return an int, which is the color. It's going to be get rainbow, and we're going to make it like wavy. So some of them will have delay, so it's like a wave. So for that, we'll make another variable called index, just like that. And in here, we're going to do some calculations. So the first one is going to be a float. It's going to be the hue for this HSB to RGB. It's going to be the hue, and it's going to be equal to system.current time milliseconds. And then we're going to add on to that the index times 100. So that's just going to offset them by X amount each time. And then we're going to modulo that by about 3,000. Let's say 4,000 actually. 4,000 should look nice. And then we'll divide that by 4,000 float. And that should go ahead and make a stripy hue. And each time the index is increased, it will be offset by even more, which is nice. Then we will go ahead and create the integer that will be returned. In fact, let's just return it right away. So let's say return color.hsb to RGB. We're going to put in the hue. We're going to put in 1. We're going to put in 1. Nice and glamorous. And over here, we're just going to go ahead and put in our get rainbow. Just like that. And index, say 0. To get it all started, and then we're gonna run it. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead, go to single player and into test world, and let's see if the rainbow has worked. All right, and would you look at that? We got a nice rainbow text. So that will conclude it for episode 2. Next episode, we'll improve the GUI, and maybe we'll make our first hack. Who knows? See you in the next one.